Yeah. So what is personal system? Okay. So that's the question here. So normally, so what we're doing is, so normally in normal SAS and in normal data set, we can directly use this today, right? For example, if I write data ds, okay, date equal to today, okay, run. So what happens now, man? We get today's date. As we haven't mentioned any format, it will be in numbers, right?
Yes.
Yeah. If you mention a format to it, format date, date 9 dot. So I get a date 9 dot format date. So it is 28 by 2024, right? So what you've done is we have directly took date equal to today brackets, right? So in order to consider this particular function, okay, this particular date function to to be also you know to be also used or to make it work in the in a macro processor, okay, to make it work in the macro processor. So we have to, I mean, consider any function, take any SAS function, if that to be used in the macro processor, so, if that to be used in the that to be used to create a macro variable. So in order to in order to read that particular function in the macro processor, you have to use percentage sysfunc. So this percentage sysfunc. So to understand blindly, this particular business system is used to convert a normal data step function to a macro variable. Okay, a normal data step function to make it work in the not to make it work. I mean, no, to make it work in the macro statement, we have to use percentage sysfunc. Okay, it's not about today, ma'am. So you can use anything. Sub-str, scan, all the character functions, numeric functions, date functions. If you want to use any kind of these functions in the in the macro system, you have to use percentage sysfunc before writing that code. Clear, ma'am?
Yeah, yes, Rajiv. Yeah.
Yeah. So this percentage sysfunc has syntax of so this sysfunc of okay. What is syntax? Yes, this function. Okay. Func of um, so the syntax of it is uh, function, comma, format. Okay. So that is the typical syntax. Yeah. So that is the typical syntax of this particular uh, sysfunc, business sysfunc macro. Okay. Okay, ma'am.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the reason we are using today, comma date 9 dot. So what happens if you use only today? Yes, ma'am. So what happens if you use only today? Is that
It will calculate the date.
no nothing.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, my bad, my bad. Okay. So ideally we should get the numbers, right? So we got only the numbers, right? So in order to have that in format, we use date 9 dot, right, ma'am? We got the date 9 dot format. Clear on this, ma'am? Hello. Hello?
Yeah. Can you let me know about your sys function?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, this function is nothing but, so for example, if you want to use a particular function in the, to create a macro variable, okay, so you have to use this function. So directly, if you use, for example, if you use directly particular date, okay, right here, so macro variable, okay, so again, it's working. Let's see, this is working. So you got simply as today. Okay, so this couldn't be resolved. So what exactly we, so normally if it should be resolved, so what should be there here, ma'am?
The date, today's date.
Okay, so today's date in which format?
So it will actually it will calculate from the Jan 1,
Yeah,
like
that's what,
Jan 1st
in which
1960.
format, ma'am?
We did not give any format here, right,
Yeah,
Rajiv?
so it'll
It
be in,
will numbers.
exactly. So it'll be in numbers, right? So it should be in numbers. Okay, today ideally. So that is the ideal case. But here, what's happening is, so functions. So they are all the functions. It doesn't work directly in macros. So in order to make it work, we use percentage sysfunc, this one. Okay, if C sysfunc execute SAS functions or user written functions. Okay, we have six today. Today we have this one, use this one, and we use today, comma. Okay, so normally the sysfunc syntax is percentage sysfunc brackets open the function, comma, format. Okay, so that is the syntax of this particular sysfunc. I can show you in the, it's not available in the particular sysfunc syntax. Okay, or function, its format, right, ma'am? See, a format is optional. It's up to you. But function is, it's the actual use of sysfunc. Okay, the same thing we're using here this one. So I'm using today, comma, date 9 dot. Okay, so that's net here now. So you got the date here. Okay, clear, ma'am, here until now.
Yes,
So
Rajiv.
yeah, so
Just one question.
yes, ma'am.
So the function means, is there any specific function for the
That's what
macro?
that's what I told you now, ma'am. We can use any functions. I mean,
Or any
character
function?
functions, date functions,
Oh, okay.
memory
Okay.
functions. Okay, but there are few functions that called, that which called, which got a specific macro use. For example, you have substr. Instead of using substr, with the help of sysfunc, so we can directly use percentage substr to get the, to get the part of a string. Okay.
Okay.
In terms of macros, we have very few functions where we can use them directly. Okay. Like subbase here, and when we have other functions where we can use them directly instead of using this sysfunc. Okay. That we'll let you we're gonna deal with that separately.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. This is a typical way creating global macro variable, ma'am, using the let statement. Clear? Clear, ma'am? Both of you?
Yeah. Yes, Raju.
Yeah.
Okay. And yeah.
So percentage let is for global macro because I came from the middle. So
Okay. So yeah. Yeah.
that's fine, Raj. I
Yeah.
will see the.
It's okay. It's okay. So we started with at the last time I guess we stopped here, right? Percentage put statement, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. Yeah. So percentage let is nothing but from today we have started um try to discuss how to create user-defined macro variables. Okay, or ways to create user-defined macro variables. Okay, the first way is personal let statement. Okay, there's no in terms of personal let statement, the syntax is simple, ma'am. Just macro variable equal to its value. That's it. Here in this way. Okay. As this being a global macro variable because it is not it is not being created in between personal macro and personal main statement. So we can use this particular macro variable anywhere in the current session. Right, ma'am? Hello?
Yes, Raju.
Yeah. Yeah. To use functions, um, to use data set functions, you know, uh, to create in order to create a macro variable, we use personal sys function. Okay. Yeah. And now, yeah. And now, uh, we're gonna see this one. Let's run this one. We'll run this particular data step. Okay. Okay. So what I have, so I have read, no, I have created a macro variable person let bike class equal to mountain. If you see here, we have a class. Okay, track class, road class. I mean, class in the sense, what kind of category does the bike belong? Okay, is it a track bike? I mean, is it off-road track bike, a road bike, or a mountain bike? Okay, so I have defined. So no, I took a particular macro variable and defined that particular macro variable equal to mountain, right, ma'am? So I want to use that particular macro variable in a uh, particular can be in a particular data step or a proc step. Okay. So what I have done? So I use proc print data equal to so and so. So data equal to models. Okay. Where? So I use where class equal to ampersand by class dot. Okay. Run this. I get only bikes belong to road mountain, right, ma'am? So I got bikes belong to class mountain, right, ma'am? Instead of using mountain here, I just directly used ampersand bike class. That's it. Clear, ma'am?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this being a macro variable, this being a global macro variable, I can happily use anywhere in the entire session. Okay. Can be in data step, can be in a proc step, anywhere. So even, ma'am, thing is, even with the let statement, we can create a local variable such that that particular macro variable is to be written within the macros. No, within the macro and the main statement. So if it is, if it is written within the macro and the main statement, so that will be eventually as a, so that will be eventually a local statement.
Mhm.
Okay. We see here. Yeah. So create my macro variable and assign null value. That's it. So
So syntax is same for local
yeah,
also.
yeah, ma'am, both. The only thing changes is whether it is in the open code or the outside of the open code. Okay.
Okay.
So okay,
So
yeah,
when within the macro and man, this is local and
local,
outside is global.
global, exactly.
Mm.
Yeah. So note that the macro variable by class will be global because it is created outside of the macro in
It's
an open
created.
code. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Mm.
So it's an open code, right? So there is no enclose of it, right? When you submit the program with a value, okay. So that is a, so whenever it is written in an open code, that will be a global macro variable. And using using let, we can create both global and macro variables. If it is within the macro, it is local, or outside. Outside means open code. Or no, outside of macro or open code, it is global. Right, ma'am?
Yeah.
So now we're gonna discuss about, so how do we actually create global macro variables? Okay. For example, if I write within the let statement, so within the macro names, okay. So these all will be a these are all will be considered as local statement, local, okay, local macro variable. Let's see. So how to know these are local or global? Yeah. Um, See here, today one, sysfunc of today comma date 9 dot. Yesterday, sysfunc of. I use intnx. Why do you use intnx, ma'am?
So it will increment and return the date, SAS date, time and date time
Right,
value for the interval. Yeah.
right. So, so we have used intnx in the macro function, so macro functionalities. So, in order to make it work, we have to use sysfunc, right? Intnx days today. So that is the today, I mean the date value minus one, minus one. Okay. So I want yesterday's date, right? And this is the format, and this is the format of the sysfunc. Okay, I want the date then be in the in B. So I want the date to be in this format, date 9 dot, right, ma'am? So this month means month, and what is this month? So it is the same day, it seems. I want the same day of the month, last month, same day. Sysfunc of day. So I want the day. So yesterday. So in the yesterday, for example, In the yesterday's date, I want the date, day in the sense. So what is the date 9 format of yesterday? So yesterday is date 9 dot. So what is 1 to 5 in date 9, ma'am?
Date.
That's the date?
Yeah, date, right? Oh, yeah.
No, my point is 1 to 5.
Oh, yeah. Date plus month, I guess.
Yeah, right. Maybe date plus month.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So this is Savage of today, comma 3, comma 3. So 3, comma 3 is
Month
uh,
will.
yeah, month will be there. It is again month. So this is this month, last month, uh, beginning day. No, this beginning day, this is the end day
And
for particular month, right?
yeah.
Clear on this? Okay. So let's print. So let's see. Wait, let's print this. Okay. What we got, ma'am? Apparent symbol refers to date not resolved. Okay. Let's see say it in the other way. Now what we get, so you see here, we got all the put statements, right? Executed in the log, right, ma'am?
Yeah.
Yeah. So why is it? So we use this particular put statement out of this mend. So we got this couldn't be so we got what do you call it? We got as syntax. I mean warning that today one couldn't be resolved because we haven't because these let statements they have been created within the macro. So it is inside a code. That's the reason a macro cannot be resolved out of a particular macro name, right? So that's the reason we got warning that this particular thing could not be resolved. Okay? But symbolic reference today not resolved because we have called this out of a macro name. Okay. So when we called all this put statement within the macro, this worked, right, ma'am? That's because it is a local, so we have to use it within the open codes, right? Clear, ma'am? Hello.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Raju. For me, it's
Rajiv.
Now we're gonna see this one. What happened to pre-dated bit? Okay, just see the code, ma'am, and tell me just as a simple glance. So I'm still getting apparent symbol reference B date and E date not resolved. Why is it? This B date and E date is telling me, giving me warning that these two cannot be resolved. Why is it? Ma'am, okay, that's okay, ma'am. So if you see, observe this one carefully. We used in the global statement we used today, yesterday, this month, last month, day,
Did not
this.
mention.
Yeah, exactly. We haven't mentioned B date and E date, right, ma'am?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, so SAS treated, SAS microprocessor treated these two as local. So that's the reason we couldn't get the, when we tried, resolving this out, out of this particular macro name. So they couldn't be resolved because they are local.
So we have to mention this global statement inside it.
Exactly, exactly, exactly. Whenever you want to mention, whenever you want to see to create local macro variable, you have to if I mean if you can mention versus global, then we can use that out of the macro. I mean, no, out of the open code. I mean, in the open code. I mean, in the in the entire session. My point is in the entire session. Whenever use the particular date, this particular macro variable, it works. The condition is it should be a open code. I'm sorry, the condition it should be a global macro variable. So which can be which can be done with the help of percentage global statement. So whichever macro variable you are creating below the percentage global statement, so if you mention them in the in the percentage in the percentage global statement, all those will be treated as global macro variable. Clear, ma'am? Yep. So percentage local creates a macro variable and assign null value. That's okay. It's useful to create a macro variable and assigns null value that is available only it's only during the execution of a particular macro. Okay, only so it is respective to the particular macro where you have created the macro variable. So it cannot be used in the other macros or in the open code. Okay, it should be written within the macro, should not write in the open code. Even if you write in the open code, it will be it will be treated as a global macro variable, right?
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you see this one, so I have created percentage local B. Let's see if it works. Okay. Percentage local is not valid in the open code. B cannot be resolved. If you see this one, if you see here, so normally if we don't assign anything to a, so it will have null value. Now see what happens. So it will have null value. Okay, because we haven't assigned anything to this particular macro variable. So if we don't assign anything to this particular to this macro variable, it will eventually consider it as a null value. Okay. See here, we use percent global A, put A, put ampersand A. So we got the data as null. But no while we create while we calling the local macro variable, so we got an error. Okay, because local should not it cannot be it cannot work in the open code. It works only within the macro main statement. It's a macro name. Okay.
So Rajiv,
Yes, ma'am.
so what is the purpose of this local then? Like we can create any variable with the percentage let with, right? So what is the exact purpose of this percent local?
Yeah, I mean local in the sense whichever some for example you forgot to mention global, it will be local. That's it. I mean just to know that's it. There is nothing to mention clearly. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. And we have a we have a condition here, rules. Okay. So why do we specifically use local? Okay. No, we're gonna go through that. Okay, ma'am.
Yeah, Raj.
Yeah. So here we have mentioned person is local, name, age, date. Mention Akshara 20, specifying of date 9. So let's run this. Let's see will the put statement work or not. One second, ma'am. Just a moment. I did it shouldn't work. Okay, I'll change it to some name. 25. I start with this. Now I'll run this too. Okay. So what we got here, ma'am? We got so if you see here, instead of going over there, I'll create in this up and above. Okay. I'll create these as a macro global variables. Okay. I did here achieve 26 of date. For example, I did here 25. Okay. And yeah, if you see here, if I run this one and run here, okay. So these are global. You get Rajiv 25, 28th May. These are local. Okay. Ideally, is it local here or global here, ma'am? So here. Just a moment, ma'am. Um, one second, ma'am. Just a moment. Yeah, and so I use this code. Okay, leave it. Okay, I'll just just for your case. Okay,
So it shouldn't work, right, Rajiv?
yeah, that's what. That's moment. Okay. Anyways, that's okay. So this error. That's okay. Leave it. So here, if you see here, if you see here carefully, we have defined name equal to Rajiv, age equal to 25, date equal to today's date, which is 28th May, right? And again, the same thing. We have defined name equal to Akshara, age equal to 20, date equal to today's date. We use mac2. No, we called the particular macro, and we used put name, age, date. Okay. So why did it work here? Why did it work here? So ideally, it shouldn't work here, right?
Yeah. So it's a globe.
Exactly. It's a global. Okay. It is considering the global data. Okay. So it is not considering this data. Okay. So this particular data is only we'll only stick with this local macro variable. So yeah, it only sticks with the local macro variable. Now we got Akshara 20th May 20. And here we got Rajiv 25 to 28th May. Because we use percentage put inside the macro. And here we have result in outside the macro. So if it is outside the macro, it will use the global macro variable data. So if it's inside the macro, it will use the local macro variable data. Clear, ma'am?
Yeah.
Yes.
Confusing?
Mm.
But then for this we have to always create the new variable name, I guess, right?
For this in the sense, ma'am?
Like if we are creating any global variable
Mm-hmm.
and if we have any local variable the same,
Mm-hmm.
then we need to be careful, I guess, right? For this.
Yeah, eventually, ma'am. Eventually, ma'am. Yeah. But here my point is, if you see here, we have
Yeah, we
defined
have to
we have
exact.
defined here macro equal to Akshara. Okay. In the
Yeah,
global, we have still still put name dot. Okay. For example, okay, name dot. So in the local, it is the upper hand of the local. Okay. So if we use the same macro, so, if we have used the same macro variable name, okay, in the both global and local, but while calling this same macro name in the local within the macro, the local macro variable name will be resolved, right, ma'am?
yeah, Raju. Yeah.
Yeah. So here we have used name. So you may think that percentage put an ampersand name dot can also be resolved as Rajiv, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the help of percentage local. So within the macros, it will be it will dominate the person's global macro variable within the macros. I mean, dominant in the sense it will replace the particular percentage macro, percentage, sorry, ampersand name dot. Clear, ma'am, both of you?
Yeah, Raju.
Confusing, ma'am?
No, no, Raji. Yeah.
Okay. How about you, ma'am?
Yeah, yeah, good, Raju.
Okay, fine. Yeah. If you see that, if you just go to the rules here, okay, you can't use personal global statement to convert local macro variable into global macro variables. Okay. So while creating global macro variables inside the personal macro or definition, you must specify personal global statement before you use the macro variable. Okay. So we cannot convert personal global, no, we cannot convert local macro variables to personal global macro variables. So we can only do that while creating a macro variable by mentioning either personal global or personal local. Okay. If you don't use personal local, no, there won't be any harm in it, ma'am. Okay. We still get the same data because when we consider macro, when we when you create a particular macro variable within the macro names, it'll be eventually converted to local macro variables. Okay. Clear, ma'am?
Yeah, Raju.
Yeah. Now come to this global. Okay. Now global. Global anyways, which you know it. So anyways, we'll be getting name and Akshara 20 and age and the date. Okay, so previously what used to be there, ma'am? Rajiv, right?
Yeah.
That gets replaced with name, age, date. Okay. Yeah. The global statement creates macro variable with null values, which we know it. You still have, initialize them using personal let statement or calls input. Calls input is the next functionality or the next way to create a macro variables. We're gonna go through it. If you define personal, global, and local with just see here, ma'am. If you define both global and local with same name, the macro process uses the value of the local variable during the macro execution. Got it, ma'am? No, which I explained previously, right? Hello?
You
Ma'am?
said global, right, Raju?
No, no,
Or
here. Here we have created name separately out of the box. I mean, out of the macro name and in the macro name. But the dominating is local. Confused, ma'am?
No, 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 Raju.
Okay, so okay, let me
I
just
feel it's outside. Yeah.
sorry.
I feel it's outside. Like
Yeah,
if
outside self. Okay, let me just create for you. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So if you see here, we have the same name for global and local. Okay. Now we have to see what names will we be getting here and here. Right, ma'am?
yeah.
Okay. Shara 20. This one. Rajiv 25. Okay. See here we got Rajiv 25. Rajiv 25. And here we got the out of the macro. Here we got Akshara. Uh-huh. One second, ma'am. Okay, age wasn't been defined. One second. Okay, now we'll see. Okay. In the code, so this particular name got replaced with Akshara and age got replaced with 20. You see here we got Rajiv 25 and 28th May. While name we got Akshara, age 25 and date 28th May. Got this point, ma'am? Or any issues in that, in this one? Do you find any issues in this one? Hello?
No, I'm little confused, Raju,
Yes, ma'am.
because you took the same variable. I'm not getting the idea, like global, which is the global variable we are creating, which is the local variable, because both are the same, right?
Right.
So I'm not getting that thing.
Yeah. We see here, no, there's nothing to worry, ma'am. So thing is, okay. Hmm.
So which is basically global is reading data and which is local is reading. That is what my question.
Okay, okay. So, let me just divide this one. Okay. Okay. Let me separate this one. Okay. Ma'am, just leave it, ma'am. Just leave this one, ma'am. It's not required. Okay. Just, no, just, it's just getting confusion. That's it. Nothing more than that. Okay. Enough. Okay. Mm, 1 second. Yeah. So we created this one out of the in the open code, in the open session. And we have, when we have created this name equal to Akshara, age 20. Okay. Now we'll see this one. Previously, what we used to have, ma'am? We used to have, so this Rajiv and 25. Okay. So we use Akshara and 25 as global. So these two got replaced with Akshara and 20, right, ma'am?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah, here it's clear, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And now use local. Local now. Now see. Now it is Akshara 20 date, which is in the local. But in the global we have Rajiv 25 date. Okay. So my point is this particular three macro variables are first defined in global itself. Okay. But global, but here, while resolving, the data, within the macros, we are getting the data of local variables. Correct, ma'am?
Yeah. So
Okay.
if we are mentioning in the local,
Local, yeah. Global
the
cannot,
micro
yeah,
stability,
no, yeah. So with the same name, with the same macro variable name, no, if the same name is defined both in global and local, so while using that macro variable name, within the macro name and the main statement, the local macro variable data will be considered first.
yeah.
Clear, ma'am?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. If you see here, ideally this name, age, date should be uh, instead of Akshara, it should be Rajiv. Instead of 20, it should be 25, right? But it's not happening. What's happening is the local macro variable created the data, so that's being considered, which is Akshara and 20.
Yeah.
Got it, ma'am?
Yes, yes.
So, as we defined, this in the this is in the open code. So we got person's put name. So this being a global, we got Rajiv. This being global, we got age as 25. Yeah. Clear, ma'am?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. So this is little few observations. I just want you to tell me these questions. Okay. This let equal to x20. That equal to x20. I want the answer for what is x here and what is x here.
Inside the macro, it will be 20,
Hmm.
and outside the macro, it will be 10.
Okay. Let's see. It is 20 here.
Oh, both are 20.
So put x one. That is the problem. Yeah. Here it is 20 and here it is, where is it? 20. Okay, let's just reconsider this one. Okay. So you asked me, right? What is of local? So I guess here is something different, but it's okay. Person 10, 20. 20 we got that as in the code and 10 outside the code. Clear,
So
ma'am?
we need to mention the local.
Yeah. So normally it should, X should be local, but here it is considering taking, here we need to consider person is local, X. Then it treats the particular value as local.
So right now you write it down the local over there, but default is then is there any default like
Yeah,
without writing?
default should be local, but not sure what happened in this thing. Okay. Default it should be local because we have given within the macro names, but
Yeah.
it is being it is being replaced with 20. Okay. I need to see on this, ma'am. But I mean, maybe because of SAS Studio or something. I mean, no, because of SAS Studio, that shouldn't change. Okay, because the default, whenever we write something within the macro, the default should be local. Okay. Anyways, giving personal local is, there's nothing harm in it. We can directly give personal local X. Only the thing is only when here the question is only when we create a macro variable with the same name. Okay, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yeah. And next one. How about this one, ma'am? The same thing, right? Got 10 here.
It is showing for only one. We did not mention percentage put inside the macro, right?
Okay. So as per this one, we should be getting.
Yeah, it's a confusion.
No. There's no confusion, ma'am. So if you see here, we haven't called this one, right? Mac 1.
Yeah,
So without calling that, it won't be resolved, right?
yeah.
Yeah. Now this one. Now this one. See if you see this one, it will be 20. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Person is local. Yeah, it is correct, ma'am. So it should be 10 now. 20 here. Okay. Twenty here, 10 here. Okay. So it's always better to use person as local whenever you use let statement. Okay. Let statement. So which treats X to be a local macro variable. Clear, ma'am? Any questions until now?
So for only inside, when we are creating this percentage let inside any macro, that time we have to mention the percentage local, right?
Right, ma'am. Yeah. I mean, in order to make that work within the macro.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. If you want to make that work um outside of the macro, then there is no point. Then there is no point in
Yeah.
using that, right? And the other condition is whenever you have two macro variables specified separately. Okay. I mean two macro no when you have the same you know when you have the same macro variable name, right? Define both in global and local, then you have to mention person as local. Okay.
Yeah.
That's only when you're creating with the help of percentage let, but not when we when you use parameters, right? We use parameters, right? Mac 1 brackets open, right? All
Yeah.
those for creating a data step at that time it is not necessary, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay. Even if you use it, there won't be any harm. Even if you use person local and and then create, I mean, and then what you call assign the particular macro variables to a personal local, there won't be any harm.
Okay.
Yeah. Next one is personal calls input. Okay. So calls input is the other one, and we have few other ways to create macro variables, which we're going to discuss, ma'am. Okay. Ma'am, please go through until let statement, ma'am. Okay. Please go through each and every example in the handout. Okay. Uh, be well versed with until what we have learned it now, ma'am. Okay. Be well versed with what is macro name, what is macro variable, what is percentage put, why do we use percentage put, why do we use macro variable, and why do we use parameters, all these things. Okay. Global, local, sysfunc. If you find some time, go through a few examples of sysfunc, ma'am. In the Google, you have, I mean, you'll get examples of sysfunc. Just go through that. Okay. Find some more examples on functions. No, using sysfunc. Okay. Let's see a cat X. Go through this one. It's a vast. I mean, I can't. I mean, thing is, I can't teach you each and every function, right, ma'am? So just go through that one. You'll get to know. Okay. Any questions until now, ma'am? Any questions until now regarding these topics? Hello.
Yeah, no, Raj.
Okay. So we'll just make a hard stop here, and then we'll just continue the same session tomorrow. Um, we'll just go through the other ways and other ways to create macro variables. No wonder what are the other ways to create macro variables. Okay. Yeah. Anything else, ma'am? Any questions? You seem to be still. I feel you have a few questions in it.
Yeah, I'll ask you tomorrow, Raju.
Okay.
I came from out. Yeah, I went
Yeah.
out, so
Yeah.
I will.
That's okay, ma'am. No, just go through the handout, and let me know if any questions.
Yeah, Raju.
Okay. Yeah.
So, I just want to ask, in the interview, will they ask about this macro because it is kind of little.
Yes, ma'am. They they will ask you. This is the most dominating questions. You'll get it in the interview. Macros
Okay.
is 100%. No, is macro question on macros is 100%, ma'am.
Okay. On on the theory part or like on the any
So
programming.
first of all, no, first of all, they start with. I mean, if you based on the experience, they'll start with what is the macro processor? Okay, how do we create macros? What are the ways to create macros? Okay, they start in this way, and again,
Oh,
they'll give you, you know, in-depth questions like how to resolve macros. Yeah, how to resolve macro question. For instance, no, they'll just give you questions based on dates, questions based on do loops. Macro do loops. Okay. No, which we gonna go through it, ma'am. No problem, ma'am. Okay. So till now,
okay.
what we have learned, just go through it, ma'am. No, it is till now what we learned is, it is the most straightforward thing which we have learned till now.
Okay.
It's macro is nothing but the only difference is just to know what is percentage and what is ampersand. That's it. And and at which point we have to learn what is
Okay.
within the macro and meant statement, what happens outside of the macro and meant statement. That's it. And rest are just rule based. Person is local is just a rule based. Okay. If you use person is local, okay, this will be the macro variable will be created, will be created in a form of a local macro variable. Okay. Only when we use person is let statement. Okay. Clear, ma'am?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what will be the best answer to how to resolve the macro means? I did not get the.
Ways to resolve, ways to create macro variables. Okay, what are the ways to create macro variables? The first way is personal let statement, right? Okay. And before that, we have used parameters, right?
Yeah, keyword
Yeah.
and positional.
Sorry?
That keyword and positional parameter.
Exactly. Position parameters, we haven't went through it, but we have went through only the normal parameters. Only the
Keyword.
keywords. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, positional is nothing but we give we give a equal to symbol, and other one is no other one is we give the positions. So the flow should be likewise the position. That's it.
Keyword is equal to symbol we will give in keyword, right? Or position.
Position, ma'am, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess
Yes,
that
keyword
positions. Yeah.
related.
Doesn't make any no thing is mostly you'll be using just direct keywords itself, ma'am. I mean
Okay.
keyword is just the parameters. My point is just parameters.
Okay.
Okay. So positional parameters and the next one is positional parameters which is uh equal to symbol, I guess. Yeah. So mostly you use parameters itself, ma'am. The positional parameters we hardly use it. Okay. Because it should stick with the position, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean sometimes we don't feel that would be feasible. Only positional parameters, so only normal parameters. We feel it feasible where we can use it anywhere in the I mean in between the person macro and men statement. So normally if you think so in between the macro and the men statement, we have hardly used these 5 steps or 6 steps. But in real time, there will be thousands of lines only just between the personal macro and personal men statement. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got it, ma'am?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
right.
even there are thousands of steps, but the rule is same for everything. The steps will have SAS code. That's it. Basic data step, basic proc step. That's it. Right, ma'am?
Yeah, Raju.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay, ma'am. So in that, so we'll just stop here, and then we'll meet tomorrow. Okay.
Yeah.
Fine, ma'am. Yeah. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Thank you, Raju.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Rajiv.
Thank you, ma'am.